Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving into the 18th century Industrial Revolution. And look, this wasn't just about some new gears, burning coal, or clever new gadgets. It completely rewired human existence. We're talking about a tidal wave of social and economic change so massive, it literally dismantled the foundations of society and rebuilt them from the ground up. We're going to explore how it permanently changed where we live, how our society is structured, and honestly, perhaps most profoundly, how we actually perceive time itself. Picture this for a second. Imagine a world where your entire day is governed strictly by the sun. I want you to really visualize waking, working, and going to sleep solely based on natural sunlight. For centuries, this was just the undisputed baseline of human existence, right? You woke up when the sun rose, you slept when it set. If you worked, you were probably in your own kitchen or a small local workshop. There were no blaring steam whistles, no machines dictating your speed. You had this natural, seasonal autonomy that feels, well, almost totally alien to the highly scheduled, fast-paced way we live today. Then it was like flipping a massive switch. We went straight from the quiet autonomy of those home-based crafts into the harsh, relentless discipline of mechanized factory life. Instead of natural seasonal flows, human life became strictly regulated by 12 to 16-hour shifts and the unyielding pace of machines. Honestly, it stands as one of the most abrupt psychological and physical transitions in all of human history. So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the battle of the sun versus the clock, then look at the engines of change, dive into the urban factory life, explore the new social ladder, and finally, we'll weigh the true price of progress. All right, let's officially kick off Section 1, the sun versus the clock, or as I like to think of it, the Great Reset. Moving right along to Section 2, engines of change, steam and steel. Now, how did we actually break free from just relying on manual labor and nature? Well, you have to look at geography. For millennia, manufacturing was held in these invisible geographic shackles. If you wanted power, you were literally forced to build your mill right next to a fast-flowing river. But in the 1770s, James Watt refined the steam engine. And guys, this was an absolute game changer. Since it ran on coal, you could suddenly drop a massive factory absolutely anywhere. As long as you could get coal shipped there, you were in business. This one single innovation let industry scale up in ways people thought were entirely impossible. And once that incredible steam power was unleashed, boom, it sparked a total technological arms race. It's like a giant puzzle where every invention fed directly into the next one. The spinning jenny let workers spin multiple threads at once, right? That created this massive surplus of yarn. So what happens next? They need faster weaving. Enter the power loom to automate the whole shebang. Even out in the fields, better machinery meant drastically higher crop yields with a fraction of the human effort. Stuff that used to take weeks to make was suddenly rolling out in a fraction of the time. It completely revolutionized the speed of the global economy. Which leads us directly into Section 3, the urban factory life, the concrete jungle. All this wild new tech caused one of the greatest human migrations in history. Families packed up, left their quiet rural villages, and flooded straight into exploding industrial hubs like Manchester and Birmingham. But what did their day-to-day actually look like? Well, it was brutal. You're waking up to the blast of a steam whistle. You're working these grueling 12 to 16-hour shifts, doing super repetitive tasks 6 days a week. And the craziest part, you're not setting the pace anymore. The machine is setting the pace. Imagine facing a severe fine or literally getting fired on the spot just for being a couple of minutes late. The factory clock completely took over. 20 years. I mean, wow. Just let that sink in for a second. Because these rapidly growing cities just blew up overnight, they lacked even the most basic infrastructure. We're talking practically non-existent sewage systems. Overcrowded slums became massive breeding grounds for diseases like cholera and typhus. When you combine that with the horrific physical toll of working in those factories, the life expectancy in the poorest working-class areas absolutely plummeted to less than 2 decades. Okay, let's turn to Section 4, the new social ladder, shifting strata. So as the old feudal system and noble birthrights started fading out, economic capital stepped in and forged a brand new social hierarchy, and it was built entirely on cash. At the top, you had the industrial bourgeoisie, the new rich. These were your factory owners, mine operators, and bankers who owned the means of production and were rapidly grabbing some serious political power. Just below them, we see the modern middle class really taking shape. Managers, engineers, accountants, doctors, the administrative backbone keeping the gears turning and enjoying a pretty nice rising standard of living. But down at the bottom was the working class, the proletariat. They owned nothing but their labor, selling it for hourly wages, and bearing the absolute physical brunt of this whole industrial machine in hazardous, crowded conditions. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the price of progress, weighing the scales. Look, we have to be real and objectively weigh the massive human toll of this era against all the undeniable technological leaps. And it wasn't pretty. Chasing high profit margins led to severe exploitation. Factory owners specifically loved hiring women and young children because, frankly, they could pay them significantly less than adult men. And it gets even more terrifying. Small children were actually squeezed into these tiny, dangerous spaces around moving gears just to clean the machines. Add in the thick, black coal smoke literally choking the skies and deadly waterborne diseases in the slums, and you've got an absolute public health nightmare for the working poor. But, and this is a massive but, this very same brutal industrialization brought incredible benefits that actively shaped our modern world. Because factories pumped out goods so incredibly fast, the prices of basic stuff like clothing, soap, and books just plummeted. Suddenly, ordinary people could actually afford them for the first time ever. Steam-powered trains and ships completely revolutionized how we move goods and travel, practically wiping out food shortages in many areas. And crucially, the sheer amount of massive economic wealth generated, that eventually laid the foundation to fund public infrastructure, clean water systems, public schooling, and the breakthroughs of modern medicine. It really was a giant, painful crucible. The Industrial Revolution was this deeply complex, chaotic mix of profound suffering and brilliant advancement. The immediate working-class generations of that time paid a staggeringly heavy price in sweat, disease, and hardship. Yet, the economic and social systems they were forced to build, they literally laid the groundwork for the modern, high-tech, and medically advanced world that we completely rely on today. So, tomorrow morning, when you step into your comfortable, high-tech world and check the exact time on your digital screen, I want to leave you with this provocative question to ponder. Ultimately, was the Industrial Revolution a massive stride forward for humanity or a tragic step backward? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning the world around you.